Hello, Scott Stanfield here. I am the Modern Longevitarian, and we got some pressed tofu here. We're in the kitchen, the Modern Longevitarian Kitchen. Families all around. We've got birds. You may hear our birds right over here. They're nesting. They've got some eggs in there. We've got dogs running around. We've got cats, and you can't see around the corner here, but there's a couple moose in the backyard. And so anyway, today's the cooking episode of the Modern Longevitarian Kitchen, and we're going to start from scratch. The only thing that I have going on right now is that got a little heat going on inside of this cast iron skillet. And I'm just going to walk you through what I do when I make food. And today's going to be pretty much 100% plant-based. And I am keto, so that means it's going to be lower in carb. Don't add sugar to things, stuff like that. And show you the process of what I do, and from all my years of working with all these amazing chefs over the years that have been, trained in Le Cordon Bleu, trained in CIA, all my friends and foodies and all these experiences of going to restaurants and getting, treated amazingly by chefs and learning and watching all these years in restaurants, hotels, hospitals. I even worked in the Caribbean for over 2 years at the 7th largest oil refinery in the world and ate a ton of authentic food in the Caribbean as well. So I'm going to tap into all these things. This is our, so we're testing out this whole setup with all these things, and you get to see me talk with my hands and cook, use a little bit of knife and, those type of things. And so pressing a little tofu here, put that in this morning about 9:15. And here's the thing, right? A lot of times when I go to cook, there's just fragments of things in the fridge, right? So how am I going to take, a little bit of broccoli? Here's some cabbage left over. Got a little bit of onion here. So how are these going to happen? So my favorite seasoning, and I turned it this way so I can run back in the kitchen or into the pantry and grab whatever that I need to make this, depending on where I'm at in terms of being inspired in the moment. And if you got any questions, our laptop is over there. My wife or daughter may call out some questions to me or something like that, so I can answer those as we go along. So first of all, I got to get something going. Oh, this is starting to, let me turn this down a little bit here, right? Because it's starting to burn a little bit and get going here. So I'm gonna do some onion, start with that. And you should be able to see what's going on here. And I know Chef Bernard Mueller's planning on watching this show. So Chef, I'm excited to see, to hear some input. He actually gave me a little bit of reminder, right? He said that cooking is a journey, not a destination. So, and I'm going to also, one of the things I'm going to do, so by the way, thanks Chef for adding that in there. This is some avocado oil, right? And this pan's a little hot here, and I'm keto, so I don't have to worry about too much oil, right? And this is probably going to go a little fast because this has been heating up for a minute. I like to start with the things that are going to take the longest to cook, but I actually do a lot of one-pan cooking here. And so a little bit of salt, and then I've got some pepper here that's already ground up. You can do things like this, right? This is a mini bottle of Patron that my wife had some pepper in there. So I'm gonna start with that and let these cook down a little bit. Steve Weber was in the back office here, a little bit backstage, giving me a little, checking us out here when it comes to getting set up for the cooking show. He and I talked about doing this a long time ago, probably around, this is episode 79 of the Modern Longevitarian Live. We talked about this probably around episode mid-30s. We started talking about me doing a live cooking show, and I've been threatening to do this for a long time. And so I'm gonna have some coffee here. So when you are keto, you cook a lot of savory things, right? There's not a lot of sweet things going on there. So be careful not to burn your onions. The sugar in those could release and you could burn those. But anyway, so this has been a long time coming, this cookie show. We've had this set up since the summer where we have the overhead view and all those type of things. So, but I originally designed it to be turned the other way. Are there any comments come in over there, ladies? Anything? Questions? Oh, hey, Debbie. Thanks for watching. She's the founder of Spirituality Gone Wild. So thanks for being on Spirituality Gone Wild Network if you're watching there. And then I'm going to do cabbage next. And then there's 4 ways to do garlic, right? And a lot of people don't really think about this. My wife, she loves doing garlic first and kind of toasting it and doing that in the beginning. I like sometimes to add garlic in a little bit later than I would if, so there's like 4 ways you could do it, right? You could do it where you put it in the beginning and you toast the garlic. It's hard for me to do 2 things at one time, right? You toast the garlic and flavor the oil that way. Or you could, put it in midstream. Or you could, cook it separately and then put it in. And then the 4th way, you could just put it raw on the top. Now, with, Dr. Terry Walls, she says 2 cloves of garlic has the same amount of sulfur in it as if you had 3 cups of sulfur vegetables. So when it comes to health and trying to get enough sulfur in your diet, raw garlic is a good way to do that. And you don't have to add any other like super spicy, spices in there like hot sauces or things like that, because that sulfur is going to act as a spice that way. So I don't know if there's any other live cooking shows on LinkedIn. If there is, let me know. I'll be happy to check into them. Right. Now, here's the thing. I did get a comment asking me, right? There's a couple things, right? You may need to add a little bit more oil as you go, right? And as you add things in. I like seasoning each, at least salting each ingredient as I go in, right? Adding a little bit more, little layers of flavor. Now, I won't finish with salt, or I'll stop adding salt if I decide to go Asian with this, and I'm going to put soy sauce in it. And I don't actually, a lot of times, pre-plan out what I'm going to be making unless I'm craving something. All right, so we're getting a little color on those onions there. Turn this back up a little bit. All right, so I think the next thing that's going to go in is going to be the broccoli, and then I'll add some garlic in. But I'm gonna break down the garlic while I have a minute here. So the thing with garlic is there's a couple tricks to it, right? I don't always cut it really small, right? Sometimes I leave it in whole pods and do it that way, so it kind of like get like this medium rare, garlic pod. But you can smash it, right? You can break it up like this, right? You've probably seen these tricks on those 5-minute videos. So I'm gonna use 4 pods in this. Okay. And then if you guys are interested, you can help me figure out how to finish this dish, right? What sauce and what culture or region of the world to go to. I always kind of start with these same, flavors, and then I finish it up. Now the key to your microbiome is plant diversity, right? And getting enough fiber. Rich Roll said this. I was listening to one of his recap podcasts, and he said, instead of asking where we get our protein, because we're like this protein addicted culture, we should be asking, where do you get your fiber from? 97% of American adults are deficient in fiber, and that's even with the low standards that we have in our country. So where are you getting your fiber from, right? Where? Now, as you know, I don't normally eat until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I will taste this today, break my fast a little bit early because this is a special event, but doing the live cooking show. But my point being is that cook for whenever you're when you're hungry, and also, try to increase your plant diversity, right? Because your plant diversity is the key to getting the right amount of the prebiotic fiber you can, and micronutrients and all of those things. You watched my show yesterday. We talked about, right, and we talked about the alkaline acidity aspect of eating food, and how I could just drop the mic with one sentence that, there's a debate, or it's fact or myth, and there's a debate on whether this works or not, right? And with that, and I could drop the mic with one sentence. Of all 5 blue zones, all 5 of them, the commonality in their diets are minimum 90% plant-based. So there is an importance to eating and living a majority plant-based diet. And so even you can look at books like The Longevity Diet, Victor Longo says be vegan for 5 days a week, and then you can eat meat or fish 2 days a week, those type of things. So this broccoli is getting a little long in the tooth, so it's a good thing that we're here starting to turn a little bit. But there's it's still good. What's that? I don't know if people know what long in the tooth means or not. It means getting old, right? Right, but it's still good. It's not moldy or any of those things. The best part of the broccoli, I think, is the stalk here, right? Can cut that up. It's you can cut it like a zucchini or a carrot, like that. It's going to be more fibrous and take a little bit longer to cook. All right, I'm gonna add this. This is a little big for me. I like doing bite-size pieces and putting them in a bowl. Broccoli absorbs lots of whatever may be released here, may be absorbed into this broccoli. So we'll see how this goes. I like putting a little, even though it's probably not the healthiest thing 100% of the time to put a little color on things, but like grill marks and stuff like that have been known to cause cancer. I am a foodie, right? So I find balance with that, right? So this dish right here, you could do multiple things at this point with this dish, right? Now, depending on what day you're on, if you're not going to be plant-based this day, right? If you're, you could do things like this, right? You could, like if you got some sort of leftover protein in the fridge that you want to use up, or something that's fresh, right? You could, like sometimes we buy rotisserie chicken, right? And you could put a rotisserie chicken in this and shred it up and spread that out and have mostly plants, and then have some chicken there, leftover ground beef that you may cook for tacos, and turn this into a Mexican dish, right? You could, depends on how it's seasoned. Now you could get into the point, all right, I just added the garlic in here. We'll see how this goes here. And if anybody has any input on how they want this finished, you can help finish this dish, right? I mean, right now we could go Mediterranean, right? We could, once this broccoli finishes cooking, right, we could do a couple things with this, right? We could, leave it just like this, 100% plant-based, drizzle it with some extra virgin olive oil, maybe a couple drops of oregano oil. We can then garnish it with some basil or oregano if you have it, depending on what you have, and then go that way. And so what we do is when we cut the tops off, my wife got this trick here: cut the tops off the green onion or scallion, put them in some water, and they'll sprout back. So we get like 2 or 3 different uses out of these. And so you can. So I'll do some of this for the garnish on the top. I am a restaurant guy, so garnishing a plate is important. Plate presentation is important. So I'll put this back in here to go on the windowsill, right? Turn this up a little bit. Got a little extra action going on here. Try to get this broccoli to cook, right? So we're only 16 minutes in, right? And we're started from scratch, only with a hot pan, one skillet here. Anyway, you got options, right? You could whatever protein you want to put in here, you could put in here and finish this dish a certain way based off what you have, right? I see a comment that came in from Steve. What's Steve got to say? I can't read it because it's too small. Oh, he's playing what? Yes, it's probably one of his American Gumption, 96 life lessons from the movie Forrest Gump. Right. I cook by sound and feel a lot, so I got these AirPods in, and it's hard for me to hear what's going on. So, in an effort to try to make the show, good here, I'm struggling a little bit. Yeah, who was that? Hey, Bennett. Bennett, thanks for watching. Yeah, that's a really cool trick that you can reuse the scallion over and over and over again. What's that? Regrow them, right? And get a little bit more bang for your buck. All right, Steve, Bennett, you guys, what are you craving out there? I know it's lunchtime for you guys. You guys on the East Coast, right? How do you think we should finish this? All right, so in here we got some firm tofu. Maybe you can see in there that there is some water in the bottom of this. We pressed this. We just recently got this pressed. I've been using a couple plates and some weights to press the tofu out. Now, why would you want to press tofu? Well, it comes packed in water, right? And tofu can become a sponge and absorb whatever flavors you want to put in there. It also will help it brown up easier if you press the water out of it as well. So you can add a lot of flavor to it by doing that, because it'll absorb the flavors whenever you cook it. All right, so you can cut this however you want, right? Or one of my tricks, and we did this just the other day, right? You can't, not my trick, I actually just saw this recently. I think it was on Instagram. We saw this trick, right? Where you freeze it and then you shred it to make it like it's texture like chicken. This has not been frozen. This came out of the fridge, but I pressed it this morning. So it's been pressing about an hour, actually. Just about an hour. And so you can do it in little bite-sized cubes like this, right? And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna pull these veg out when they're done, which is almost there. Put them in this bowl here that I have, and then put the tofu. Put the tofu in the pan and brown that up, make it all crispy and stuff, and then we'll finish it from there. Okay. All right, Chef Bernard has got a comment coming in. What's Chef Bernard got? Rice, yes. So bamboo shoots, yes, I could. And this is screaming as an Asian dish with the cabbage in there, those things. I don't think we have any bamboo shoots, do we? No, we don't have any of those. We do keep them from time to time, but we also have things where I could do this, right? We have we have pickled ginger, right? We have that. And then a traditional Japanese, like a saba, which is mackerel, right? You could, a way to mimic that in a way is you could, and I did this yesterday actually. Saba is a mackerel, and they typically pair that with pickled ginger. So you could take a fish, an oily fish, like we have these sardines, and these are the least sardines I've ever had in my life. It's the Season brand, certified wild caught, sustainable, non-GMO, and a lot of omega-3 in these, and which helps with vitamin D and those type of things when it comes to fighting viruses like COVID, right? But you could put this on the top of it and then garnish it with some ginger and make you and some soy sauce, maybe some fermented fish sauce in there, right? You can make something like that, have an Asian dish. That's actually what I did yesterday for my breakfast, which is really lunch. Right, so you see this it's about a 10-inch cast iron skillet, right? So I've got all this yumminess action that's going on here, right? Let me get all this stuff out of here, okay? And there we go, right? You guys see that, right? Steam coming off of it. And so that's one dish, right? So now I can put a little protein in here like this, right? So a little bit more oil because we want to put a little action on here, right? I like grouping these guys together like this. Right, and so, yeah, this is Screaming Asian, right? I could just very simply, right, take and, just some soy sauce, some mirin maybe. It's got a little sugar and mirin, right? You got to be careful of that if you're keto, right? Whatever your favorite Asian, things are, right? You could also do this, right? Say that you cook some cauliflower rice, or if you had rice, if you're not keto, right? And you could do things like add in some gochujang paste to that, right? So you can, dig around and where is ours? Right here, right? You could go Asian from this point, right? So you could add flavors. So this is a really cool paste that'll add in a lot of Korean flavors. You could top this with, it could be a multiple cabbage dish where you could top it with kimchi, right? So you could really go Asian with this dish, right? Especially with the tofu in it. It's really begging for that. But you also, like I said, I could put, a Mediterranean, Greek, Italian style, dried oregano, fresh oregano, basil, some extra virgin olive oil to drizzle on top of it, and just go to town just like that. You could put some cheese on top of it. You could, there's so many different ways. I wouldn't do cheese with the Asian because that doesn't blend well together, but you could do those type of things, right? And especially I've got some green onion here, which is, to do that. So, right, we can see what we got here. Yep, got a little color action going on there. All right, any more comments come in, ladies? No, sir? All right. Okay, we're gonna let this cook up a little bit, and then I'm gonna get put this back. We've got some, in here somewhere, we've got some kimchi. Kimchi. We got soy sauce. Some Japanese dishes have actually Worcestershire sauce on them, so you could do that as well. Do we have any miso? No. My daughter and my wife make this amazing miso soup. So we keep miso around the house a lot. All right. A couple chopsticks. Tofu what? Right. Yeah, it is, right? Tofu is something that, is in a lot, and obviously in the Asian and Japanese cultures, right? And it's a way to get some, you know, in a protein addicted world, right? Like we live in, it's a way to get protein in without all the trimmings of having, um, what's that? As long as it's organic. I'm getting comments from my wife, who's actually been playing this healthy eating game a lot longer than I have. So when my parents got cancer and I became a vegetarian, she was the one that I modeled everything off of. So you can blame her for all this stuff that's happening. So, all right. So I've got the kimchi. As you can see, this kimchi came from the Asian market, right? It's got that. He doesn't even have a scanner on it, right? Is this where we got this from? Asian market. This one, this kimchi. Yep. So this is going to end up being kind of an Asian fusion dish because of, you know, a little soy sauce. And what we use here is the organic gluten-free version of that. And I eat, you know, being keto, eat a lot more salt than most people do. This is kind of, I like, you guys who worked in the restaurant business, you know, where GMs end up eating a lot of cold food a lot of times. So I'm okay with my food not being burning hot, you know, with that. But I want to show you what we got going on here. We got a little color action going on the tofu. Now this would be hard to do without it being pressed. I'll be honest with you. It's gonna, if you didn't press this, it's gonna keep the white color. It's not gonna be able to color up like this to give you that nice GBD, right, Lace? Golden brown and delicious, right? A lot of that has to do with the temperature on your pan too. This was in a restaurant. I know what some line cook would just drop this in the fryer so he didn't have to flip it each time to take his time to do it, right? They don't have time on the line to do that. So when you're at home, you can take the time to flip over side to side, do all those type of things. Somewhere is, you guys know where our screen is? I might have to buy some bamboo shoots now, chef. So we have those in the pantry. We're doing a lot of Asian cooking here. But you see here, going back to where this was in the beginning, right? All of this really started out with what was in the fridge, right? It wasn't, you know, this wasn't like a I had a comment, somebody asked, like, are you going to give us an ingredient list so we can cook along with you? What I'm really trying to do is teach people that you can make something out of what's in the fridge. And, you know, chef, once you understand flavors, right, you can do this, right? And so, I mean, I put salt, pepper, you know, but then in this, but then it's like, you know, it's got onions and garlic and cabbage and broccoli in it. I've got other things that I had out here depending on which direction I was going to go. I love using dry mustard, especially if I'm going to throw something in the oven, right? And roast it. Smoked paprika is one of my secret ingredients. I love that. When I have, so when you see me make something that's smoky, it would be something like, it would be smoked paprika or chipotle powder as well. I've got two types of salt, or the same salt. We've got this rough grind of salt, plus we have it in the grinder here to make it smaller. I would finish this dish if it wasn't going to have the soy sauce in it with salt to bring the flavor to the front, how that works. And I'm not really going to, this pan's got too much oil in it for me to put soy sauce in it. It would just pop and go everywhere. I don't really want to do all that. And so what you could do is basically rest this tofu in a little bit of soy sauce, like to give it a little bit of flavor that way. So I got a bowl here, I can put this in, right? I'll move this over here, right? Right, so as this is coming off, right, you can, right, let's see, stuck together, and that's all right. Yeah. Okay. That is a great tip. For me, being keto and not wanting to have the carbohydrates, I wouldn't do that. But for people who don't care about their carbs, right, that's a great option to do. Thank you for the tip, Chef. All right, I'm gonna turn this off. Right, so we're pretty much done here. I'm gonna move this over to the so it won't continue to heat. Right. So then what you can do, right, is we can put a little bit of soy sauce on this to get it to absorb that, right? And then all of this is just going to go on the top of this dish as well. And we can do a little bit here, right? Get that going down to the bottom of the dish. So we have those things. And then let's work on this, right? A little kimchi. Right, so multiple styles of cabbage here. We've got sauteed cabbage, right? Now we've got fermented cabbage in this age-old Korean fermented, amazing kimchi. And there, there's Chef Bernard's from Germany, right? There's two ways that you can, ferment cabbage, sauerkraut, right? Or in the form of kimchi, which is spicy like this, right? So you can have it like that. Now, if this was my, so my normal thing, I may let this sit longer, but in the effort of the show, we're 33 minutes into the show right now, right? I've got this marinating. I'm just going to take and put this all on the side. So it's kind of like this, you're separating this out kind of like a Cobb salad, if you will, or like how they separate things out in ramen dishes, right? So not a lot of calories in this dish. I mean, there's some in the oil, right? So probably 250 calories in the oil that's in this dish, right? But then not a lot of calories in tofu, not a lot of calories in vegetables, those things, low carb, right? So now, oh, what kind of knife is this? Oh, good question, right? So this actually came with a chef's, this is your knife, Lace. This is came as a chef kit that we got at a food show, Nicholas Food Show. This is Ace Row. That's just it's German steel, high carbon. It's really a great knife. So there. Say that again. Where is it? Right. Anyway, all right. So we have another knife that we should be using for this. A lot of times, I like this knife. I like shorter chef knives. I don't go for the super long ones. Maybe because I might cut myself or something like that. But anyway, here is the Modern Longevitarian Kitchen, right? So episode number 79. This is 100% plant-based. It's got two types of cabbage in it. It's got sulfur vegetables of cabbage, broccoli, onions, garlic. It's got tofu that's been pressed, so it's a firm tofu, organic, non-GMO. It's got prebiotics and probiotics with the kimchi in there. It's got some spice, got some flavor, plenty of the salt that you need. I mean, this is lunch right here, right? So let's give it a taste, see how it came out, right? Told you I would, even though I don't normally eat till 2 o'clock. Lace, you want a taste of this? Yes, please. Here, I'm gonna get you some chopsticks. Or do you want a fork? Chopsticks everywhere. Here you go, Lace. I got a fork if you want a fork. All right. She loves some tofu, right? All right, we're going to, I'm gonna do a little. It's really good, Paul. Is it really? Mm-hmm. Try some broccoli. All right.
Delicious.
All right, you can have this if you want. Tomorrow's show, Jason Bowden, professional golfer, been a professional golfer since 2003. I found Jason when I was actually studying the Mike Austin golf swing. He is actually he is one of these fast golfers now. He's done long distance driving golf. He's played on, I think he's played some tour events, and so also a huge advocate for longevity, health, being very athletic as we age. And so I'm super excited to have Jason on the show. We connected through LinkedIn, and I've been following his career over the years and studying again the Mike Austin golf swing. And if you don't know anything about that, I encourage you to look into the how Mike Austin back, I think it was in the 50s and 60s. I think he still holds the world record for the longest drive in a PGA Tour event that happened in Vegas, and so it's all about using the levers of your body in a way that create this natural flowing, really fast, powerful golf swing. And I don't really play golf that much anymore. A lot of toxins on golf. One of the most toxic areas that you can go to in America is a golf course. And so I don't really go onto a golf course much anymore because of the high level of toxins, right? And so, but even though I love the sport, but I'm excited to have Jason on the show tomorrow. Jacob Bowden on the show tomorrow. Jason's my friend that plays golf, and he was the last person I played golf with. And do that. So, but anyway, episode 79. The Modern Longevitarian Kitchen. My name is Scott Stanfield. I am the Modern Longevitarian. Thank you for watching today's episode that's here from our kitchen in our home in Park City, Utah. And super excited to share this with you and the way that we cook and the way that we share food. And oh, here we go. It must be that good, right? You dropped a scallion on the floor there. We're going to wrap it up right here. And so, Lace, there's going to be our Nissa, it says roll credits, right? So again, I think I want to say thanks for watching the show here on LinkedIn on Spirituality Gone Wild Network. If today is your Friday, I hope you have a great weekend. It's time to roll the credits. Cheers.
That was good, Paul.
It's muted. It mutes when videos play.
It's not playing.
I can hear it in my ears.
Oh.
You see right here the mute though?
How come you can't see it there?
Yeah.
It's so confusing to me. This one's not muted.
Right. It's playing the clock. Yeah, it's not playing. Somebody clicked it off. Hold on. Hold on.